Well, hello there. Welcome to the Flippity Dippity, exclusively on the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic and has the Flippity Dippity every week. Every week we have the Flippity Dippity, but we're not talking about the Flippity Dippity right now. We are talking about Jim Cornette. And Jim Cornette, he has his podcast where he talks about wrestling because, that's what he do. He had some words about Lucha Underground that we listened to, and we took it in. We took it into our mind, and we thought about it. And we want to punch Jim Cornette in the face repeatedly until he bleeds because he's stupid. I'm sorry, that was anger. That was anger. I apologize.
Because he's fat.
I apologize. It's not because he's fat, it's because he's stupid. I apologize. That was anger. But let's kind of... I broke this up sort of into groups, but not really. Anyway, first of all, he calls Lucha Underground heinous horse shit. And right there, I was ready to stop the video, but I kept going. I kept going. He said that, he would probably... He thought he would have probably liked the matches, but not the show. But it turned out he didn't like anything because he has no taste in anything. Any thoughts about the beginning of the video? I mean, we know how it starts off with him just, this is heinous horse shit. Any thoughts up to that point?
Before any argument is made, you already disagree. And I think we all do. I think anyone who watches Lucha Underground does, because I think, because especially then I know when I watched it the first time, I was like, you're full of crap, because you would probably, and I'm sure he is, he's probably the same one looking for something different in the wrestling business. And then when someone gives you something different, you try your best to run away from it because it's not what we're traditionally used to seeing.
Yeah. Justin, any thoughts up to that point, or are you just gonna sit there like a Chiefs fan?
Oh, fuck you, man. That was low right there. But I definitely disagree with Jim Cornette said at the beginning there, because he's like, no, it's not heinous horseshit. Like, no, it's not. It's an amazing wrestling, because, like DJ said, it's something different again. And, like, when something new happens in wrestling, we'll go like, no, like, when, I'm just going to bring this up, which you're probably going to get on the rant here, because it has to do with Casey's favorite wrestler, John Cena. When Cena's not in the main event, and when someone new gets there, like Roman Reigns, they're like, no, this is so horrible. I don't want to see Roman Reigns there. And, something like this, and Lucha Underground is amazing. Jim Cornette, I just want to go kick him in the face. I just want to kick him in the face right now. I want to throw him off a cliff. What? That's good.
All right,
that's gone too far right there right now.
Wow, you need to calm down. He goes on to say that it's embarrassing, it's a TV show, it's a movie where people wrestle, which, I mean, yes, it does feel like a TV show more so than the traditional wrestling show, but I personally love it, and like we said, it makes it feel unique. It makes it feel like something different, something interesting, something you're gonna want to tune into and say, oh, what is this? It's not, the typical wrestling show where, it's in an arena, where it's in a different city every week, where, it's just something new. He says that it's not athletic, it's not wrestling, and they don't even attempt to make it believable. I've watched the matches. They are incredibly athletic and incredibly believable. Have you watched a wrestling match in the past 15 years, Jim Cornette? Do you just like watch wrestling matches from like 30 years ago and then talk about wrestling? Like, is that what I feel like that's what he does? Um, but any thoughts on those last 2 points that I just talked about?
Yeah, as far as the whole TV show movie aspect of it, um, number one, my thing is with that is every company has their vision. Like every company has, this is what we're gonna be, and this is how we're gonna be different from everyone else. And that's exactly what Lucha Underground is saying. They're like, yeah, we may be more kind of story. I could even say maybe more storyline based, and we're gonna make sure that if someone clicks on to the El Rey Network, they're gonna say, "What is this?" And that's exactly. And I feel like, especially now today, that's exactly what wrestling companies need. You need something that when somebody's clicking through the channels and they're like, "Oh, what's that?" Like what's gonna make me draw me into this particular wrestling company? And I think that's one reason why I like Lucha Underground. Is it is as we've said, it is something different, but still, for those who don't watch wrestling all the time or those who are looking for something different in wrestling, it's right there for you. As far as not being athletic, or what was the other term he said? I can't remember off the top of my head.
He said, I'm trying to look back to see. He said it wasn't athletic. It's not wrestling. They don't even attempt to make it believable. Um,
Okay. Um, number one, it is most certainly athletic. Um, Jim Cornette, just because you can't do it doesn't mean it's not athletic. Number two, I feel like as far as going like it's not wrestling. Well, let's go back to what professional wrestling is supposed to be anyway, and it's supposed to tell a story. And Lucha Underground does it probably better than any company out there. Even though it can maybe seem like it's kind of outlandish at times. Um, you know, even for example, if you look at it like the whole Vampiro thing, when Vampiro came in, and you had Vampiro come in. He's who was it? What's the guy's name? I can't even think of the guy's name off the top of my head anymore.
Matt,
But he was, yeah, yeah. He was Pentagon Junior's master. Like that was the entire season was a story that ended on the last night of the first season. And that like that's what professional wrestling is. From what I've learned and what I've always thought, I thought it was you're supposed to tell a story. Well, Lucha Underground does a pretty darn good job of telling a story. I mean, they may tell a story differently than the prototypical companies do, but they're doing what they're supposed to do. So
Tristan?
Well, I disagree when he says it's not athletic because they are truly athletic. I mean, seriously, all those flips and stuff that they're doing. And when he says it's not believable, I go like, well, define believable. You know what I mean? Because like DJ said, like it's supposed to be like wrestling is supposed to be pretty much like a storyline, pretty much. And another thing I didn't like when he brought up, he goes like, well, they have to shoot this stuff a whole bunch of times, and you go like, well, they probably only shoot like once, probably. And there was something else I was gonna say, and I just lost what I was gonna say now off my mind. Um,
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's about right now.
Well, we will get to a point that Justin just brought up in a minute, but I you know, Lucha Underground is like we've been saying, it's something new, it's something different. It's in the temple. It's a new kind of a new perspective on wrestling, on professional wrestling, and I don't think it's really any different than back in the Attitude Era. It was something different than early '90s. WCW was to me felt more like a rock, like a rock concert. There was brighter lights than WWE had. It was flashier than WWE at the time. then you had ECW, which was in Philly. It was the small ECW arena, which was completely different feel. And then early TNA was in the Asylum. What is the difference between all those? What makes them okay, and makes Lucha Underground in the Temple not okay?
And then I have to say one thing. And then we have NXT at Full Sail, and then we have TNA right in Orlando now. I mean, at the Orlando Universal Universal, yeah.
But they don't have it at Universal anymore. What are you talking about? They don't do that no more.
They don't do that no more?
No. But anyway, moving on. He says, the production is amazing. He says it's almost like Scorsese directed it. He says the cinematography is amazing. But he says that he calls it another nail in the coffin of ever having wrestling taken seriously again. Again, it's always this is what wrestling has always been trying to do, is be an entertaining show. Suspend your disbelief. Break you out of reality and kind of into this. I don't want to say fantasy world because that makes it sound weird, but that's kind of what it is. It's immersing you in the story, and I think Lucha Underground is doing that amazingly. He says that well, first off, any thoughts on it being the nail in the coffin or the cinematography or anything? I'm sure DJ has some thoughts on that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I got a chance to study film for one of my classes last semester, and I definitely see those things, and I appreciate those things, and I love the camera work. I think it's very unique. It brings another like Lucha Underground is meant to be. It brings another another kind of look, kind of mystique to wrestling. But as far as being like a nail in the coffin of it being taken seriously, my question is, in all honesty, who's really taking wrestling that seriously anymore? As far as like he's concerned, I mean, I feel like back in the '80s, it was like this big thing where you were taking oh God, Hulk Hogan's gonna do this, and he's gonna, oh my God, he picked up Andre the Giant, but I feel like we just don't see it. We don't, as fans, and I don't think it's even meant to be seen that way anymore. It's obviously we take it seriously as far as we look at it as an athletic product and athletic sport. But I don't know as far as like taking the storyline seriously. Yes, we want them to be believable, but I feel like too we always do get our kicks out of the kind of crazy storylines, the storylines that you're not really used to seeing all the time, the unpredictable storylines and unpredictable finishes to storylines.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Justin?
Yeah, I definitely. Well, I like what DJ was saying about the cinematics. Like I like all the camera angles that they do in Lucha Underground, like all the different spots. So I think that's like really cool. And I'm taking a class right now in high school. Right now, it's like this video type of like. It's like a cinematics type of class, and I think it's really cool to learn about, and that brought me more light about to that, so I thought that's pretty interesting. Also, what was the other one again? What was the other one about?
Having basically it being the nail in the coffin of ever having wrestling taken seriously.
Oh yeah, well, I don't think. Like DJ said, I don't think really wrestling is supposed to be taken seriously. Like back in, I'm gonna say back like in the early '90s and stuff like that. When they're having the wars and stuff. It's not really supposed to be taken seriously. You're supposed to have these funny gimmicks sometimes, and it's supposed to I can't talk now. Suspend your disbelief, for the company. You know what I mean? Like with these storylines, like no one's gonna survive a drop off a Hell in a Cell, but you know what? You gotta suspend your you gotta suspend your disbelief, and it's entertainment and stuff. Yeah.
Mick Foley did survive that, sir.
Yeah, but if like I said, suspend your disbelief about the it not being fake and stuff. But yeah, I don't think it is a nail in the coffin.
Yeah. He says that the backstage stuff, the videos that they have, that that they take multiple takes to do them, which I just thought was, why would you even say that? What? I mean, yes, they're more of a movie type thing, but it's no different than pre-recorded promos from WWE, WCW, ECW, TNA, any promotion that ever does pre-recorded promos. They do more than one take. Especially WWE. They want for their pre-recorded stuff for like SmackDown, they want it to be perfect. So I'm sure they take tons of takes until they get it right, and that's why they have why they have the Performance Center to work on promo skills. I just thought that was stupid of him to say.
I gotta say one thing, and that's why they have a script. But I don't really like when people use scripts very much, because I just want the people to just go out there and say pretty much like what they're actually thinking about in their mind, because like when people say something like off a script, like this sounds weird, like I don't like that very much. But back to what you're saying.
But yeah, since since Justin kind of gave his thoughts there, DJ, do you have any thoughts on the multiple takes of the backstage stuff? Or?
Yeah, I don't know why that's an issue, because that's one of the perks of pre-recording your shows, is the fact that you can have multiple takes, the fact that you can kind of get it as close to perfect as you want it to be. I don't know why that's an issue. I guess more so he's trying to say that because it's so outlandish that it's like noticeable that it's more than one take. But I don't know. I just think that was really dumb too, because like that's what you do when you're pre-recording a show. You want it as close to entertainment ready, as close to TV ready as you can get it. So I don't know why that's an issue.
Yeah. Did you have anything else to add, Justin?
Not really.
I kind of wished you did for a second, because I was looking something up. But anyway, he talks a little bit about well, he called the match between. He said he watched the match between Phoenix and I think it was King Cuerno, but he said Prince Puma.
Yeah, it was Prince Puma.
Are you sure? I thought.
I heard him say Prince. It was Prince Puma.
I'm not sure if he was talking about like on the first. I don't know if he was talking, because this was all focused around the first episode of the second season, so I wasn't sure if he was talking about the second season or a match we had saw like last season or something.
I think he was talking about this season, but I'm pretty sure it was King Cuerno that faced Phoenix, because Prince Puma came out to help at the end of the show.
I mean, it could have been. I mean,
I don't know, but anyway, he calls their match Chinese Acrobatic Olympic Gymnastics Tumbling Team. I mean, that's what Lucha is. It's
not Chinese though. It's Mexican.
This man was pulling so much shit out of his ass for this that I don't. I feel like in this sort of it wasn't an interview, but it was for his show. He reminded me of one of those like teenagers who will argue about something being stupid and just pull so much crap out of his ass that has nothing to do with it. Um,
And then he can't back it up.
yeah, it's just this makes no sense. Any thoughts on the Chinese acrobatic Olympic gymnastics tumbling team?
He said so many words that I couldn't even write them all down. He was just pulling out whatever word. Like he was just looking through a dictionary. He was like, "Bloop." All right, no, it was a thesaurus actually. He was looking through a thesaurus trying to figure out any word for acrobatics he could find. Um, but yeah, I just thought it was just stupid because my issue was, you know, number one, he can't do it. Number two, it's not like he never worked with TNA where they did similar things. Like they did similar things in the X division with all the high flying and stuff. So like it's not like he's never seen it before. So like I don't know. It was like he was like flabbergasted like by what he was watching, but in a negative fashion. It was so freak. I didn't even understand that.
Any thoughts on that, Justin?
Well, I don't really like how he was saying it was a Chinese like performance acrobatic. With that whole Ram stuff he was saying, I'm like, okay, can you just shut up right now, Jim Cornette? Like you're not making any sense right now. I go like, what the hell are you talking about? And I definitely agree with DJ. He wasn't with TNA, and this kind of reminds me of like the X Division, stuff that they're doing X Division. And I go, just shut up, Jim Cornette. You're just pulling it all off your ass. You're just pulling all those words out there. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't I feel like maybe he applied to work for Lucha Underground in the beginning. They
And he
did
didn't
not,
get the job.
and now he's just mad. So he's angry. He's lashing out against them.
I bet he's gonna be getting a whole bunch of heat on him more.
Well, hasn't he done that with like every company he's worked for? Like he bashed Ring of Honor once he was done with Ring of Honor. He bashed TNA once he was out of TNA.
Did
He
he
bashed like
bash WWE?
yeah, he bashed WWE when he was out of WWE. I think he even bashed WCW. Like,
Watch him go bash PWG and watch him bash every independent promotion, even though he hasn't been to every independent promotion. But yeah,
Anyway, he talks about how they had the review of 2015 and the last match of 2015 with Vampiro versus Pentagon Jr. He said it was just some hardcore wrestling bullshit. I mean, I agree that they don't necessarily need the hardcore wrestling on the show. Like, they can just do the athletic stuff, and it would have been a great match. But, again, I don't. It definitely wasn't a hardcore wrestling bullshit. It had a story behind it. There was a big twist at the end that I didn't see coming. Having Vampiro end up being Pentagon Jr.'s master. Which unfortunately they didn't really. They followed up a little bit on it in the first episode of season 2, but I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that. But I don't see it as hardcore wrestling bullshit. I mean, it was a big epic ending. That's how I saw it. Any thoughts on that?
yeah. um, I was completely fine with this match. With this match when it was happening, and thinking about it now because number one, they don't do like these hardcore matches all the time. And this was Ultima Lucha, which was their last show, which potentially even could have been their last show ever. So they were going to go all out for it. I felt like, and it go it goes back with the storyline. Also, you know what I mean? Like you got Blue Pentagon Jr., who's been breaking people's arms, who has no records abandoned, and original Vampiro, who just didn't really care. So I was completely fine with the match, just because of what the storyline was within it. Um, I I just don't. I don't know. I just don't think. I don't think it was as much of an issue as he tried to say it was, because the storyline in the match was great. The storyline, the twist at the end. I don't. I agree with you there though that I don't really necessarily like the way they went with it because they just kind of threw it away. It felt like during this first episode, like oh Vampiro's cured, which they did. They didn't actually. Let me rephrase that. They didn't really go with Vampiro's necessarily cured, but I wonder is something else going to happen with him? Like, is he going to always have those flashbacks or something? But I disagree with a lot of what he's saying in this.
Yeah. And any thoughts on that, Justin?
Well, when he was talking about when he was saying it was like the hardcore bullshit or something like that, I was like, well isn't that ECW there for you? It's like, haven't you ever seen hardcore matches? Like that, like you don't really see that much hardcore stuff over there in Lucha Underground, so it's something different you getting over there, which I thought that was pretty nice to see that there, and yeah, pretty much that's all I need to say about that, and yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure there's anything else that you need to say? Like,
Yeah, I'm sure.
like that
Yeah.
he is the best person ever, and I'm your hero.
What do you say?
Anyway, moving on. He does say that he loves John Morrison, but he thinks that he needs to get out of that atmosphere. I mean, if WWE didn't fire him for, I don't know. I like John. I mean, he is a little bit kind of doesn't quite fit the Lucha Underground kind of feel in a sense, but I love seeing him on the show. I mean, at least he gets to wrestle. At least he gets to, be in the ring. What other promotion is signing him? I don't see any other promotion signing him. I don't see WWE trying to sign him again. I don't see TNA trying to sign him again. I don't see Ring of Honor trying to sign him again. I mean, if he wants to wrestle and they're paying him, I don't see a problem with it. Any thoughts on Morrison or Johnny Mundo?
I definitely like John Morrison a lot. I don't know. I'm a big fan of John Morrison. I'm good. It's good to see him back. That's one of the things I was definitely happy about because I hadn't seen him in such a while because of he wasn't on WWE programming or any like mainstream programming to find him. But I definitely want to I like John Morrison. I think this is good for him because how old is John Morrison? Let me check real quick. Because I still think John Morrison's relatively young. Seems like it at least. He's 36. He's still got a little bit, but he's still somewhat young. So I feel like he's still got a lot left in him. So I feel like it shouldn't. I feel like this is a good way to show his talents because he got to show him in WWE, but by the time he really got to his singles push and really got a chance to really dive into who he was, he was gone. So.
Any thoughts on Johnny Mundo, aka John Morrison, Justin?
Yeah, I love John Morrison. I mean, he was amazing in WWE, and then he got, fired from WWE for whatever reasons. I don't remember why. But, if he's happy there in Lucha Underground, I mean, I'm happy for him over there in Lucha Underground, and he's doing amazing stuff over there. And like Casey, I don't see any other companies. I don't see TNA, I don't see WWE re-signing him. I don't see, some other indie companies. I don't see Ring of Honor taking him. So you know what? And I bet he's making amazing money over there. And that's what Jim Cornette said because with all the because he said all the props that they use over there, in Lucha Underground, which doesn't one thing I'd say doesn't every company use props because you got those weapons under that ring, so they're I mean I don't like how we call them props, but I love John Morrison, and I definitely agree with DJ. Before, he was, when he was getting that big singles run, he got, released, and and we didn't see him for a very long time on a mainstream like type of company. Then following with Lucha Underground, which I'm really happy for the guy, and that'd be pretty awesome if he ever comes. That'd be pretty awesome to see him and then run in WWE. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll happen, but that would be cool. But anyway, my favorite part, I think, of this whole video, interview, whatever, was when he was bitching about how it it's how it's a show and it's predetermined and it shouldn't be. That's what wrestling is. It is a show. It is predetermined. I I don't understand how. What else do you want it to be? I, any thoughts on that? I don't even know what to say about that.
Yeah, I don't really either. I mean, that is what it is. That is what wrestling is. And the thing is, like, you can't get mad at Lucha Underground for kind of exploiting that, because they know, number one, they know that the fans know, hey, it's predetermined. Like, there's not many fans out there, or any, that are like, oh my God, this is, that, like especially like, because a lot of the fans are either really young kids or kind of teenage type of age, or 27 type of age. Anyway,
I'm 28. Okay.
okay, well,
We were close. 21 off. Cut some slack. Cut him some
but
slack.
but yeah, I just feel like I'm Lucha Underground is hitting on all the points that we already know. So why are we crying about it? And I think um, Jim Cornette's a little bit upset that the internet has kind of taken over wrestling a little bit too, because I think it's something you can't really control, and but it's just Lucha Underground's just they're going with the times. It's a smart move.
And that's a big part of it. Like, this isn't this isn't the 80s. This isn't the early 90s. Everybody has a smartphone or a computer, and can just go and look up results of a show or predictions or spoilers or whatever.
Human spoiler machine right here.
Yeah,
Or talk to Justin, yeah.
it's common knowledge that now that pro wrestling it's a show, it's predetermined, whereas early 90s, 80s, 70s, whatever, I feel like it wasn't as common knowledge. Like, it was more, to the fans, it was more real, because they didn't have, there wasn't access to the information really that we have now. We know more about, and again, we've talked about how this can be a good thing and a bad thing. We know more about, what goes on in the backstage now than, some guys that worked for WWE in, the 80s. And it's because of the internet, and maybe Jim Cornette just doesn't, is fighting that fact. I don't know. But I mean, we all know it's predetermined. It's common knowledge. But unless you're not a wrestling fan, you don't know. But there's one thing that I do agree with him on, and I mentioned this to DJ before we did the video. He says that if promotions, like he said, obviously Lucha Underground has a big budget. Whoever is giving them money, or whoever is the owner, I don't know. Obviously, they have a lot of money to do all this amazing stuff, and if a promotion like Ring of Honor had the funding that Lucha Underground did, it would be huge and it would be amazing. And I agree with that. If somebody came in and funded Ring of Honor like they do Lucha Underground, it could be huge. Any thoughts on that? Either of you?
Yeah, I do agree with
Well,
that.
you skipped over me
Oh,
about the
I
part
mean,
about them
I mean that's
predetermined.
okay because you're the human spoiler machine, so we already knew that you knew.
Well, I want to get some thoughts on that.
Oh, fine, fine. You get your thoughts, and then DJ just has to wait. Go
I'll let
ahead.
DJ go right now. DJ can talk.
No, you go ahead. You go
Okay.
ahead. You
Okay.
get them thoughts in, boy. You get them thoughts
Okay.
in.
Oh man, I just forgot what I was gonna say.
All right, DJ, get your thoughts in.
that was a trick, so he can make me go is what it was. No, I agree. I think Ring of Honor could be really big, but once again, I still feel like there's a little bit of something about a controlled network that has kind of its input in wrestling. Because you can see it with TNA, even though it has it's been a lot better since 2012. You can still see how Spike TV and Destination America kind of still had a little bit of control over what was getting put on, who were being champions and stuff like that. Um, so I kind of feel like it would definitely make Ring of Honor be really big, but I still think there's a little bit of conformity with wrestling companies saying, we still we gotta change, we gotta change with certain things, and you may say that, well, Lucha Underground hasn't changed, but Lucha Underground's not on a big network. They're on the El Rey network, which I don't even have here. I have it at home, but I don't have it at my other at this house. So like I it's one of those things where they have a little bit more freedom, because freedom they got they have a little bit more freedom because they're not on as big of a network. Whereas if you get on a Spike TV, they're still trying to keep a certain reputation about them.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the funding, promotion, or
Oh, I forgot about funding. Oh no, I didn't. I just said funding. Never mind.
You just
Doesn't
said funding.
Never mind. Justin, don't forget your thoughts again.
Okay, I remember what I was gonna say before. So, shit, people know that it's, scripted and predetermined in this day and age. You know what I mean? Like, we have smartphones right here. We have the internet at our fingertips right now, so we can figure, out. And you got me also. You got the human suplex machine. No, human spoiler machine. Juggernaut 097. If you guys need anything, if you guys want to know some spoilers, just come talk to me. I'll be there ready to tell you. But maybe like the little kids, who are really little, or maybe some, people who haven't been watching wrestling that long might not know it's scripted. But yeah, why are you smirking like that, DJ?
I was looking at this video. I'll send it to you after the video.
Okay, but like they probably might not know that it's scripted. But yeah, and about the funding, I think, Ring of Honor could have been really big, if they had all that money. But the thing is, there are some disadvantages to that. If you can get really big, and then that can go downhill like that. You know what I mean? Like there's like a lot of disadvantages, to getting really big. But like WCW, bad there. But yeah, that's pretty
but
much but, yeah.
WCW kind of was always big because it was, well, okay, back when it was WCCW, it wasn't that big, but then when Ted Turner bought it because he wanted to have a wrestling show, it was big from them. But I don't know. Anyway, the last little part of the video, he talks about how he says that nobody would ever want to buy tickets to see this. I personally looked into ticket information and pricing on Lucha Underground if I ever get a chance to go out to California, sir. And I would love to go to the arena there, the temple, and see if it's actually a temple. Um, any any thoughts on that? I mean, I'm sure we've all seen even more ridiculous like indie shows that we've paid money for. So I don't know why anyone wouldn't. You know, any thoughts on not wanting to buy tickets to Lucha Underground?
Um, yeah, I completely disagree with this too. I agree. I would look for tickets. And the crowd's pretty excited when they're there. It seems like so. Obviously they're buying tickets for a reason. Because last time I checked, the last episode I watched, I didn't see the building completely empty. I didn't see like cardboard cutouts of anybody, being fans. So, I think there's somebody interested in it. I don't know who it is. That maybe they don't exist. Maybe I'm not sure, but somebody's interested in it. So,
Thoughts, Justin? Would you buy tickets? Would you?
Hell yeah, I would buy tickets. I mean, that'd be freaking awesome. I mean, I'd love to go to it. Go out to California. Yeah, is that where it's at? Yeah, it's in California. I would love to go there. Go see a show there. And I don't really think it's actually in a temple, but
Yes, it is.
um,
Don't lie to me. It's in the temple.
I don't know. I don't think so. But there was this one thing I was going to talk about. It was about this other wrestling company, and I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. Well, it's like they do some more gimmicks there, and I would like to go something like that also, but I can't remember what it's called. It's like where they have these like mascots dress up and like their waffles, and there's
it's a
like a
basketball game.
That is a creepy porn site you shouldn't be on.
What do you say?
That is a creepy porn site that you shouldn't be on. I don't feel like.
I can't remember what it's called now. Breach went to that during Mania. I don't remember what it's called now. But
Was it in an abandoned warehouse? Did you have to pay a fee to get in there?
yeah, you did have to pay a fee to get in.
Did you have to rub someone's belly button to get in?
No.
Oh.
Was there a safe word?
Was there a safe word? No. I can't remember what it's called now off the top of my head, but
Was it Chikara?
it wasn't Chikara. No, I haven't seen that for a long time. I know what it would be. I'll tell you if I remember that later.
All right. Well, that's pretty much the end of the video. But I just, do you guys have any last thoughts about the blasphemy that was this video from?
I think we did a great job of disagreeing with pretty much every point Jim Cornette said. So,
Another thing I have to disagree with about him, you know how he says it should stay underground? I disagree with that. Like, I disagree how he says they should just bury it underground like this, keep it far away from up above as possible. I hate that. Like, Jim Cornette, you have a whole bunch of enemies on your ass right now.
I mean, speaking of heinous bull, watch your mouth. This entire argument that he had with whoever watches Lucha Underground or whoever was watching his podcast at the time, us, was heinous. Watch your mouth is how I will continue to say that.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth on the flippity dippity.
All right, we are not at the flippity dippity yet. You need to calm down. Yeah, that's pretty much all we wanted to come on there and kind of give our thoughts on what Jim Cornette said, and it just proves that you may be in the professional wrestling business for years and years and years and still not know shit. I don't know. I honestly think he was just mad about something because all of this was just ridiculous.
I think it was just to get some publicity, because that's what often is these days.
I don't know, but yeah, that's gonna be the end of this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. Do not follow Justin on any social media ever. But follow us. It's right down down in there.
Hey, I tell people to follow you guys on my channel.
It is
So.
right down there. You follow the Twitter, like, comment, everything like that.
Do my stuff also.
We're gonna have the Super Bowl picks coming up Tuesday. Um, we were gonna do Pro Bowl picks, but nobody wants to know about the Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl, it's just Team Rice versus.
Amazing! All the teams play on two teams. Like it's the All-Star game basically.
And the Colts players only got a chance to go because the Broncos are in the Super Bowl.
The Colts players only got a chance to go because they wasn't in the Super Bowl. That's where they would have been.
No, there were no Colts players selected last time I checked.
There were. You just didn't see them. They were in the VIP section that you're not allowed to be in yet. But we will see you on the flippity dippity. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Bearer thing and it didn't work. We'll see you on the flippity dippity.